September 26, 2017. Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Elba?
Here.
Mrs. Moomin?
Here.
Ms. Mitchell?
Here.
Mr. Freeman?
Here. Ms. Gator is running a little late. She will be here. If everybody could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Next on our board agenda is 1.4, approval of the agenda. Board members, have you had a chance to review the agenda for tonight? Is there any questions, any changes, or any additions on this agenda for tonight?
No, sir. I don't see the donation from the class of 87 on here.
Donation. Oh, from your class. I would have to check with Dr. Rock and I'll see why it's not on there. But
Dr. Rock is not on here.
What is it?
The donation from the class of 87.
check you
That was
received.
given last.
Councilwoman Andrea Mitchell.
Hey, we turned it into Maddie. Maybe it didn't make the cutoff. It'll be in the next board meeting.
Okay. Vice President Mitchell, you have.
Chair, can I speak? During public participation, Councilwoman Andrea Mitchell stated that it was she used the word donation, and then she came back and corrected herself. She said the monies were to be used for a program that your class wants to institute here at the district, and those monies are going to seed that program. So it's not a donation, it's specifically going to be used for a new program. And she's coming back after she meets with Superintendent Jolly to provide us with more information. Because we did share with her, I shared with her afterwards, that she was not clear in her articulation and what she said the monies were for.
I understand. Anytime the district receives anything, and because they came from a class of our class, it still has to be board approved.
Yeah,
If it did not make the cut this time, just look for it on the next.
That's fine. We'll review it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, board, about the agenda?
No.
Superintendent Jolly, did you have any additions, any corrections?
No, sir.
Dr. Rock, Treasurer, have you reviewed this agenda, make sure that this district has the funds to appropriate for the actual program?
Yes.
At this time, Dr. Rock, excuse me, I need a motion to approve the agenda 1.4.
Mr. Chair, I move that this board approve item 1.4 on the agenda, approval of this agenda.
What date?
September 26th, regular board meeting.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Moved by Vice President Mitchell, second by Member Mumin. Any discussion about the agenda? Hearing none, Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Moomin?
Yes.
Mrs. Elba?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes, motion carries 4-0. Next on our agenda is public 1.5 is approval of the minutes. We're looking for the minutes. Can I have a motion for the approval of the minutes for July 24th, 2017 special meeting, July 24th, 2017 regular meeting, August 2nd, 2017 special meeting, August 9th, 2017 special meeting, August 10th work session meeting, August 23rd, 2017 special meeting, and August 24th, 2017 regular meeting.
Mr. Chair, I move that this board approve item 1.5, approval of the meeting minutes for July 24th special meeting, July 27th regular meeting, August 2nd special meeting, August 9th special meeting, August 10th work session meeting, August 23rd special meeting, August 24th regular meeting, all in the year 2017.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Vice President Mitchell, second by Board Member Mumin. Board, do you have any questions or concern about those meetings on the agenda?
No, sir.
Hearing none, Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Elba?
No.
Mrs. Moomin?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes, motion carries 3-1. Before we go into our next public participation, I just wanted to Just wanted to make a statement as far as the Board of Education and as far as what we do. I know all of us are professionals and we've been elected and voted for by the actual residents of this Tri-City District. We have had Robert's rules and how to actually partake in meetings. And I just want us to get back on the actual business of board meetings. I mean, I think sometimes we, as board members, get passionate about our decisions, and we sometimes it may seem to the audience we argue, but we're just passionate about the decisions that we make. So I just wanted to put that statement out, and from now until the end of the year, I would like to have a very constructive, purposeful meeting. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Next on our board agenda is 1.6, public participation. These are the public participation cards. If you haven't got one, you can fill it out and give it to the treasurer, Dr. Rock. If you could put your name, address, any type of statement you would like to make, and give it to our treasurer. Did everybody get one of these or see the public participation card on the table outside?
Mrs. Underwood?
Come on down, Ms. Underwood, just give your name, address. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll try to make it brief. First of all, I'd like to say, I went to the game Friday, and I was like so impressed. They won like 42, so you guys need to come out and support. I was really excited. But anyway, my name is Crystal Underwood. I live at 24409 Emory Road, Warrensville Heights, Ohio. I've been living here for like about 35 years. My kids have gone through the school system, K through 12. They went to college and they graduated. So also, I've worked here at the school, volunteering, helping with difficult kids and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, last Thursday, when I left here, I had like a really disturbing situation happen. I merely went up to Miss Elba, and I gave her some constructive criticism on bringing things to the board prior to the meeting, because it holds us up. It affects everybody. A lot of us have responsibilities and things like that, and before I could get it out good, she started hollering at me. It was like, I don't care, I don't care.
Ms. Underwood, is that a question, or you just
I'm making a statement. Okay. So she just hollered at me, and I immediately, because I'm in the mental health field, and I've been in there for like 30 years, I'm certified in the state of Ohio to practice psychiatry. So but anyway, she ran behind me. Well, first she said, I don't care, so I already knew she was escalating, so I turned around, I said, I understand, and walked away. She continued to come behind me and talk louder and louder to brought the attention of the mayor. He was outside, and Mr. Freeman came in, and she stopped. But the thing is, I felt threatened, and I felt like it was kind of unstable behavior, and unstable behavior does not have any place on the board nor in the school system, because if it happens to me, what happens to a child that knows better? And I'm just saying there's no place for that in the school board system.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Pick me. First of all, Mrs.
Hold on.
No, First of all, Mrs. Underwood.
We're fine, Michelle. You don't have to respond. No.
No, you know what, I know
We're going to have positive.
No, and I'm so positive that I wasn't even talking to Mrs. Underwood.
Okay, but we don't have to
But,
discuss it.
and I don't have to justify anything that I do or say.
I know.
But I wasn't even speaking with Ms. Underwood, so.
Okay.
But I do encourage people who sit in the audience to know the board's rules, their policies, their procedures, and things we can and cannot do prior to meetings.
Yeah,
I would strongly encourage people to get on board with that. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Any other public participation cards, Treasurer?
No.
Okay. Next on our board agenda is 1.7 Superintendent updates. Superintendent Jolly, the floor is yours.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, community. Real short superintendent report today. I just want to report a few numbers. First, starting off with parental involvement. We are starting to track our parental involvement throughout the district. Tonight, I'd like to report our first 4 events of this school year: our open house, parent-teacher conferences, quarter 1, our Father's Walk, and our OSU Family Survey. As you can see, our open house has increased. We went from 226 in 06-07 to 448 participants this year in open house. Our parent-teacher conference is a slight drop from 460 last year to 428. But again, we over where we started in 15-16. Our Father's Walk, this year we had 201 fathers at our 4 sites. And our OSU Family Survey, which is completed in October of 2017, we have a target of 60%. We will be reporting these numbers on a quarterly basis so that the board and community is aware of our community, our parent engagement and what we're doing there. The Superintendent's Parent Advisory Council, our principals have been tasked, and also our parents to join this council. This will be a council that will meet monthly with me and to discuss the issues of the district, to go through and hear their concerns, and we can lay out what our plans and objectives are moving forward. Our first meeting will be October 26th. In the next few weeks, we will be getting the names of all parents who will participate and start that meeting process. Our facilities project, just to get a community update on that, the district is working with the OFCC to select an architect. The selection will be completed by November 1st. So there are 9 firms who applied for our architecture. It has been whittled down to 3. We went through and reviewed 3. The state is reviewing they 3. Or they're reviewing all 9. It'll be a final selection process in which the state will pick the final 3. Together we will interview the final candidates and then bring the final selection to the board. The district also has an RFQ out for an owner's representative. The selection will be completed by before November 1st. So an owner's representative is a person who works for our district and represents us at all the construction projects. On our side, we have very limited experience with major construction projects. Most districts who have projects of the caliber that we have a person representing them to ensure that they're protected. We had a project in 2000 which went over budget, which a lot of items that the plan was didn't get done. And learning from the past, I'm talking to the elders of the community who were part of that process. This is the best route for the district. So we are asking, the board did approve the RFQ for us to go out on the owner's rep, and we'll be bringing a name in November. And then the final thing is the district is working on the final phase of the financing of the first phase of the project. The state will approve $8.2 million to our district at their November meeting. So in November, the state will approve 8.2, and then we get the remainder to build the first phase. And then last is the superintendent's state of the schools address will be next week, Wednesday, at South Point Hospital at 6:30. We look forward to seeing everyone. I have an update on our report card, I have an update on the facilities, and our plans moving forward. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Superintendent Jolly. Board, do you have any questions on what Superintendent Jolly showed us today? Ms. Miriam, Ms. Elton? I do have one quick question. Now, your superintendent's parental advisory, is that new?
Yeah, it's new. Last year, I met with parents on a quarter. It was like a quarterly basis. I didn't have an official name of the committee, but this would be the official parent superintendent parent advisory council, which would get certificates and all that. I did have one last year. They were selected by our parent engagement specialist, Ms. Smiley. But this year we want to open it up to any parent that's interested that can come to the meetings and be part of the team. So this is our official parent advisory council.
And you still have the ones with the student, correct?
Yeah, the student one. Our first meeting is in October.
Okay, thank you.
So the principals are not making a recommendation for the parent?
No, they're not making the recommendation, but I'm taking the recommendations through them because I'm not at the building. So they're, they have the opportunity to recommend, and people come to them, and then they'll send their names to us.
Okay.
Next on our board agenda is the Treasurer's Report and Financial Recommendations. Dr. Rock. Thank you. I don't have it. Might be in there.
I'd be next. That'd be-
Right there. No, where the flap is at, the white paper.
Could I ask myself?
Okay,
Also, can you introduce your assistant treasurer, and could you stand?
when we get to the spot.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so the first thing that I handed out is the copy of the presentation that we're going to do right now, and then behind that is our appropriations for the permanent appropriations, which is part of the presentation. Permanent appropriations is the process. The process is we approve temporary appropriations in June, and that covers you through July and September while you're building your budget. The appropriations, the permanent appropriations are the budget for the current school year. The state allows you to do that so then you have some time to take current enrollment, current staff, and so you can implement current information into the school year, since the school year starts more closer to September than June. Step two, the permanent appropriations are established based on current and historical data, and then the board approves the appropriations, which are due by every government by September 30th to the county auditor. The permanent appropriation process, total appropriations are compared to the certificate of resources. So you have all of your resources, which is your revenue, and then you're going to compare to that how you're going to spend that and make sure you don't spend more than what your resources are. So the estimated resource for each fund, and this is in each fund, and we have 36 funds. You take the beginning fund balance, any tax revenue, and then any other revenue, and that gives you your resources. Funds with tax revenue, we have 3 of them. Our general fund is our primary one that collects tax revenue, and then also the bond fund and the permanent improvement fund. So some statistics for the district itself. We have 36 funds. The budget is based on the fund level. And total estimated resources for fiscal year 2018 is $69 million. Total appropriations is $38 million. These are all the funds added together, everything together. And then next month, when we talk about the 5-year forecast, that's just the general fund, which covers 99% of the operations. All funds are individually within the estimated resources, and you see that on my front page of the document. Actually, it's the 3rd page in, where I compare the 2 columns. I compare the resources to what we're appropriating, and that's what the auditors are going to check too. Then I wanted to give a little snapshot of just some of the departmental funds. When we do our permanent appropriations, there's a lot of pieces that are added together. You could have budgets that are as small as $5,000 or $10,000 and departmental budgets that go over $1 million. You could see the business affairs office, communications, curriculum, elementary school, so you can see various departmental budgets there. And in the right column is what they actually spent in 2017, and then 2018 are our estimates for this year. And again, those are estimates and projections. And all of these departments are the results of meetings that Mr. Jolly and I have with those supervisors in charge of those budgets. And back to that, and this year we even did a sign-in sheet with our with the budget meetings, so it's documented. And some of the other fund budgets are food services, recreation, and athletics. Food services, that budget stands out on its own because it's like a business. Its revenue source is the revenue that you pull in from when you sell lunches and breakfasts, but then also you get reimbursements from the state and federal. Now on recreation and athletics, and we've talked about this before, there were operating transfers that were done every year, and they were just done, just repeat the same amount. So this year what we did was we let that run down so we could see, number one, is does the fund need an operating transfer? And we had money going into the food services fund, and it doesn't need an operating transfer. So we're not budgeting that this year. But the recreational fund will need an operating transfer. Right now the projection is about $91,000. The recreational fund has minimal revenue that comes in at $2,700 with some of the fees that they collect. And then the athletic fund is another fund that it had money in it, and now it's going to need a operating transfer, and the budget is 160. We'll keep a tab on that as the school year goes. Then, not only do you have your departmental budgets, and then you have other funds, another big group of our funds are the state and federal funds. And that's why we have Kim Churchill here tonight, the Assistant Treasurer. She's going to give just an update on some of the major funds out of the state funds. She's in charge of reporting the accounting on the state funds, requesting the cash from when we get the payments, and making sure that everything falls into the correct funds. So you want to go ahead, Kim?
Okay.
You want the mic?
Oh, okay, so here, oh, okay. Okay, the first fund I want to go over is our Title 1A fund. And this fund provides financial assistance to schools with high numbers of low-income children. And we use this fund to pay our teacher salaries, friends benefits, supplies, equipment, and purchase services. Okay, the column is a comparison of school year 2017 versus 2018. The budget for 2018 is included in the budget of Mike's appropriations, which we talked about. Now, if you look at 2017, you'll see that the revenue is less than the budget. That's because the grants are held on a 15-month basis. So right now, at the end of the week, by September 30th, we have to file a final expenditure report. Then after we file the final expenditure report, after ODE approves it, then they'll release the balance of the funds, and the revenue we receive will equal our expenditures. Right now, we just have, for 2018, we have a budget and we just have expenditures. I can't request any money to replenish the fund until we complete the final expenditure report.
But at the end of the year, we could request funding from the state. And you can see where the budget started off at 1.3 million last year. That was because we had a substantial carryover that we had to spend in this year.
Okay. This is our early childhood education fund, and this grant provides quality preschool services to eligible children so they're successful in kindergarten. And we use this to pay our preschool teachers salaries, their fringes, any purchase services, supplies, and equipment. And again, I had a comparison of the two. The budget from 2017 and the budget for 2018. And as you see, the expenditures are more than the revenue because I'm waiting to complete the final expenditure report. Our next fund is our teacher quality fund, and this is used to improve our teacher quality, principal quality, and so we have qualified teachers in our classrooms. And again, we use this to pay our teacher salary, fringe benefits, purchase services, supplies, and equipment. And this is our Individual with Disability Act. This is IDLB. This is used for our handicapped and disabled children, and this is where we would provide them with an IEP, an individualized education program, and we'll set up a goal and objectives with the principal and different counselors and the parents. And so they are progress, and they have to do this every year. And then we use this to pay for their teacher salaries, their fringe benefits, purchase services, supplies, and equipment also.
And we utilize Kim's expertise from when she worked for the county auditor's office. She would go in and audit these funds for the school district. So we utilize your expertise to make sure, because remember, all of these funds are restricted for those purposes.
Right. So what I do is I make sure that the expenditures are within the grant agreement, that they're allowable, that they're, so we won't have any question cost, any money that we would have to give back. So I review everything. I make sure the expenditures are within the budget for the CCIP.
Very good. Thank you, Kim. Thanks for helping
Thanks, Kim.
that part of the budget. So that includes the budget parts. And then I wanted to provide an update on the COPS Finance, the new pre-K to 5 bill. Okay. Immediately tomorrow, the next step is tomorrow, we do the preliminary offering circular, and that'll be completed by me and a consultant, Mark Parpaki, and he's a specialist in filling out the preliminary offering circulars, which is key to us getting the financing and getting investors and getting the deal. And then also in October, in early October, we need to select an underwriter. There's going to be 3 public finance underwriters. It has to be public finance, and it's not that long of a list of public finance banks that are out there that specialize this. But one of the key things we want is we want to make sure that we get an underwriter with advanced expertise in certificates of participation. Remember, this is a very complicated financing, and we're one of 2 districts in the state of Ohio that are doing this type of a financing for the pre-K to 5. And the other one is Carrollton, and they're not done with their financing either, so there's no past practice to follow. This is very complicated. We do have the experts working on this. Bond counsel, Austin McGuan, is an expert in certificates of participation, and so is Michael Purcella, who's here also tonight for some questions, if there's any questions from the board. Also, then, later in October, we need to make a trip to New York to present for 2 things, the rating agency and bond insurance agency. You can have this trip in either Chicago or New York, but we need New York because the bond insurance agency, Build America Mutual, is in New York. We had a brief meeting with them. I got to meet the representative, and it was very favorable. He says he looks forward to doing a deal with us. You know, it looks very fair, it looks very good. But we still need to go out there and present to him and go through the process. You know, and it's not final until the ink is dry on the contracts. So we need to go out there and impress them. And again, that goes back to filling out the preliminary offering circular and all the financial information and statisticals that we need to do for that. Then also we need to meet with the rating agency, and this is imperative for the overall cost of our financing. It affects our interest rate and the overall deal. So that there's a substantial need for credit enhancement. Credit enhancement is going to lower our interest rate. And we need to communicate that we have community support for the project. That's very important because they said that the investors look at that. So they want the investors want to see certain things with us before they're going to depend on, you know, on how much the cost of the deal, how much we're going to get, who's going to invest in this. So it's very important for us to get out to New York. Is there anything you want to add, Mike?
These are all very instrumental objectives in financing. Yours is very particular of the scrutiny that you will receive because it's been so long since the district has received a public bond rating. We were fortunate enough to have a meeting with Howard Spumberg from Build America Mutual, the credit enhancement program, formerly, I believe, MDIA out of New York. He was in for a conference in Cleveland, the GFC conference. So Dr. Rock had some time, and I thought it'd be beneficial for those 2 to meet. I've been working with Howard for the last month, going over the district's credit profile, and he has been pleasantly pleased with the information that he has seen coming from Dr. Rock's office, recent financials, fiscal policy, the district's large carryover values, specifically the revenue stream through which a lot of this repayment will occur. So all the pieces are falling into place now. It may sound pretty cliche, but it is crunch time. The selection of the underwriter and Dr. Rock's consultation tomorrow with one of our, he's not an employee, he's essentially a subcontracted employee of the firm, to complete this preliminary offering circular. We do need to get those dates down and come up with a decision on that trip. And if you have any questions about that, that's why I'm here tonight.
And one of the requirements for our file, those we'll need either, it doesn't have to be board action, but we need an email or a letter that instructs that we want to go present.
Anytime a transaction incurs an expense of that nature, just for regulatory sake, the board just needs, it does not have to be board action, just an email from either you, Mr. Freeman, or any of the board representatives indicating that there is consensus among the board that the trip is going to be part of the transaction.
And then that provides the documentation we need so we can get reimbursed when the proceeds comes in. Because remember, that was the reason, of the first one of the first steps we did was establish that board resolution to where any cost that we put towards the project, when the proceeds come in, we could be rebated that or reimbursed that amount. Any questions on in regards to the presentation trip?
Yeah, can I ask a question? So you said that
Yes,
there,
I didn't hear you ask before, I'm sorry.
I apologize.
Sorry.
What's that?
May I go?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, as far as the trip is concerned, you said something about being reimbursed, so is that who gets reimbursed?
We pay for it out of our general fund, and then when the proceeds come in, the proceeds pay for it back to the general fund.
Okay, because in the email that I saw in the weekly update, it stated that there were other people going, some of the mayors were going as well, right?
Yes.
So is that included in the reimbursement, or are they covering their own expenses?
We can do either or. It's still a cost of the district. We could pay for them and reimburse back out of the general fund.
Okay,
It's a cost to go get the financing.
okay, so I guess that's something that the board would probably.
And that's why Mr. Jolly and I felt it was important to have the mayors there, because the community support of the project is vital.
That's my next question,
yeah.
if you could just clarify that.
And there's districts where they've come out to the district, right? But we have something working against us. Number one, the timeline, them getting here. Number two, then you have an uncertain thing with, they show up and they may like the district and everything, but we don't know where they're, it's just uncertainties.
Yeah, so that's been a new trend as of late, is a on-site visit from the rating agency. They'll come out, we conduct a tour with the representatives, drive around the district, show them what's going on. Generally, this is something that is done when the representatives of the rating agency have been engaged with kind of an ongoing market receptivity for a particular issue. You've been in the market before, you've presented to them before, hey, if you remember 6 years ago we issued a bond, we built X. 2 years later we built Y. Why don't you come out and take a look and see what the status of these facilities? We really don't have that here. So what I can say is in the future, once we've gotten this transaction done, we build the pre-K through 5, we go on the ballot, and then we enhance the high school. Several years down the road, I think it's an inevitability, there'll be a refinancing. At that juncture is when the time exactly when we say, hey, you rated us back in 2017, why don't you come and see the fruits of our labor with those financings now and see exactly what they look like. Next, I'm not saying there's nothing for them to see within the district. That is not what I'm saying in the least. But when they want to come out, for instance, the city has just completed a bond issue. The city is in the market constantly. This is something that they can conduct over the phone. This has been a long time since the district has gone out and received a rating. I do think there is an inherent benefit on that rating for those rating analysts to get a personal reflection one-on-one with the agents of the administration. That's why I think the trip can certainly be useful. By no means am I extending that it is absolute must, but in this particular situation, I would recommend this to another district in your circumstance. We did it with Willoughby, Eastlake, we did it with Riverside Schools. We've done it with a number of districts. So it is not uncommon.
Can I ask one more question?
go ahead.
Thank you. Can you clarify the reimbursement then? I heard you say, I heard reimbursement, but then I heard coming out of general fund. So is it a reimbursement or is it something that we pay for?
We pay for it up front,
Okay.
just like we've done for pre-bond counsel,
Right.
for legal counsel, any expenditures with this project, we pay for it now.
Okay.
When the proceeds come in, when we get our $16.3 million, we can rebate the money back to the general fund and recoup that. So it's like the general fund's putting out a loan until the proceeds are done.
Well, the bond issue will be specific line items for every third-party cost associated with the transaction. There will be a multitude of them. Bond counsel, trustee, registrar, printing, rating agency, another report we have to get generated called an OMAC report. And so in there will be, I'll have a detailed accounting for the district of what the trip cost. And then that will be part of the cost of issuance of the bond issue. Once the money's come over, everything is peeled out for the expenses and then get reimbursed to their commensurate funds.
So it isolates everything to deal with the project itself, stays with the project. It's just that now, if we have some earlier expenditures, we're able to utilize and pay those bills and get those services, but reimburse ourselves back later. And luckily, this is good timing for us because it will all happen within the same school year. You know what I mean? Because we're going to get our proceeds by January.
Yeah, the January proceeds will be from the state. You'll get these
Right.
proceeds from the bond issue in early December.
Oh, okay, yeah, so in December, so you're making a loan that's a couple months ahead of time.
I have one final question. In terms of when you actually meet, no decisions are made at that time. Is that what I heard you said? No decisions are made. It's really just a presentation. It still comes back to the Board of Education to approve whatever takes place. Is that correct?
Well, what the meeting is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and have already started putting together kind of the core document. It will be a presentation that highlights all the positives that are happening here within the district. And all those positives will reflect exactly how they benefit the district in terms of their fiscal situation, specifically their cash situation, and their ability to repay bonds. They look at everything from socioeconomic data, pure economic data from a district standpoint, socioeconomic, what they call metropolitan statistical area information. Not only do they look at the city itself, but the tri-city area, the county as a whole, how you fit in there. And what is ultimately derived from this meeting is those individuals from either Standard & Poor's or Moody's, we get to determine whom we will meet with. They will go back to a committee, compile that data in conjunction with the information Dr. Rock will be providing in the preliminary official offering circular, and they will assign the letter grade to the district. That will tell investors, here is your risk-reward indicator for these certificates of participation. Those investors utilize that letter grade along with the enhancements that we'll get on here to set our interest rates. So there's real no decision that needs to be made by the board. This is an absolute necessity for the transaction.
Get the money.
To get the money and to get the lowest cost possible.
We're going to get the rating and bond insurance. That's what we're going to get, but we want to impress them because the more we impress them, the more we provide our story, the more we provide the community support, the more we provide the unity of the school community. You know, those are all positive things that could, you know, and this that all translates to dollars and cents
And as a side
by
note,
percentage points.
I know you're trying to conduct other official meetings, and
Yes.
I'm sorry if I'm a little long-winded.
Sorry.
There will be a couple of meetings before the big show where we will practice this presentation as well. I'll have handout notes, talking points, I'll put everything together that shows who we think should talk about what information should be included, so all.
So I'm sorry if I didn't explain it properly, but that's what we're going to New York for, is a bond rating and for bond insurance. And then we come back and then we wait for final numbers on that, and then the investments are sold. We wait for investors to invest in us. But the lower the interest rate, the more it is, attractive to the investors. And
Any further questions? Anyone on the board?
Sorry. Is there any other questions from any of the board members at all?
Thank you.
And then just a brief schedule after all of this, well, actually in concert with this, and Mr. Jolly mentioned this, October 4th is a key date with the OFCC. This is just a quick update on some of the timeline there. October 4th, the COPS deal will be submitted for funding. OFCC told us that they have everything they need, so we're good to go there. Then they provide that to the OFCC controlling board, who in November, and this is key, this is what we really need, is the controlling board will approve conditional approval for the district. Now, those words are so important to us because that lets us, that closes the deal for both ends. For us to get the COPS, and it closes the deal for OFCC to pay their $8.3 million. And then early December, we go out and we sell the certificates of participation for the investors to invest in. And then that completes my section. Sorry it was lengthy, but
That's all right.
good for us to understand where we're at.
Thank you. At this time, I would need a motion for the consent treasurer's report and financial recommendations 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3.
Mr. Chair, I move that this board approve by consent agenda. Number 2, Treasurer's Report and Financial Recommendations, 2.1, Treasurer's Update, 2.2, Fiscal Year 2018 Permanent Appropriations and Amended Certificate of Resources, and 2.3, Cash Reconciliation.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Moved by Vice President Mitchell, second by Member Newman. Is there any questions?
I have a couple.
Go right ahead, Ms.
Dr. Rock, can you tell me, Fund 028, because the school is closed, what is that money gonna be used for? It's been sitting there for quite a while.
If Fund 28 is some special education grant that's been in there, and that is my goal, is to get, we have a lot of grants and funds that are in there that haven't been used. So we really, this is one of the goals, is to get this cleaned up. That's been on the books for a long time,
Yeah.
$1,100. So I will find out what that restriction is on that.
It says 950, Randallwood.
You said Fund 028.
That's what this says, 028.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the combination of all the 028s.
Is this a split? You said Randallwood?
It says Randallwood.
Are you looking at the actual cash reconciliation report?
No, it's page
It's on page, what is this, 3.
3 of the handout. And you go about halfway down. There's multiple 028 funds. There's one for Randallwood, $950. Eastwood School, it's those two. So we will find out what, you have to find out what the original grant was for, and what the restriction was, and if it's something that we could utilize in the buildings now, my intention is to get it used, and if it's something that has to be returned back to whoever granted it to us, we would return it back, but definitely we want to utilize it if we're allowed to. And Kim can tell you when it's a restriction, you have to follow this, what restricted purposes are.
Right. Same thing, is that the same thing gonna apply to, on page 4 for 468, high school that works?
Yes. Well, high school that works, we use that one.
Do you? Okay.
461? That's current.
Oh, that grant.
It's a small grant.
And are we still using the Race to the Top?
Race to the Top is an old one.
Yeah. so
There's
we're-
actually $100 sitting in Ohio Reads. There's multiple funds. Kim and I will meet with the consultant from Ohio Department of Education in conjunction with Arnice and Jamie, Lindsay, and Superintendent Jolly, and determine, which one, how can we utilize these funds and how do they survive? Because usually those, especially if they're state funds, they're used up on your FERs, which is what we're doing right now. So when you have these remaining amounts, it makes, we have to clean that up.
Do you know how long that'll take to clean up?
Hopefully this year.
Okay, thank you.
Board, did you have any other questions about Dr. Rock's financial recommendations?
No, sir.
Dr. Rock, hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mrs. Elba,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Next on our board agenda, and this is the consent agenda, superintendent's recommendation and presentation for board action certified staff, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, and 3.6. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that this board approve by consent agenda item number 3, superintendent's recommendation and presentations for board action certified staff. 3.1, employment non-coaching. 3.2, employment supplemental coaching. 3.3, employment credit recovery teachers. 3.4, employment credit recovery coordinator. 3.5, employment teacher. And 3.6, employment home instruction tutor.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Moved by Vice President Mitchell, second by Member Gator. Board, do you have any questions on consent superintendent recommendation and presentation for board action certified staff, 3.1 through 3.6? Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Elba,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next on our board agenda is the consent superintendent recommendations and presentation for board action classified staff. I'm looking for a motion for 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, and 4.6. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that this board approve by consent agenda item 4, superintendent's recommendation presentation for board action classified staff. 4.1, resignation. 4.2, employment secretary. 4.3, employment substitute secretary. 4.4, employment substitute custodians. 4.5, employment substitute paraprofessional. 4.6, employment transportation dispatcher.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Moved by Vice President Mitchell, second by Member Gator. Board, do you have any questions for the consent superintendent recommendation and presentation for board action classified staff 4.1 through 4.6?
Just a quick clarification, please.
Go right ahead.
The resignation for Angela Davis-Jackson, what position was that?
Food service.
Thank you.
Any other questions for it? Hearing none, Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mrs. Elba,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Next on our board agenda is number 5, the consent superintendent's recommendation and presentation for personnel and programs. I'm looking for a motion for 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, and 5.9. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that this board approve by consent agenda item number 5, superintendent's recommendation and presentations for personnel and programs. Item 5.1, donations. 5.2, middle school Saturday school. 5.3, agreement for Prosperous Solutions LLC. 5.4, out-of-state field trip. 5.5, out-of-state field trip. 5.6, out-of-state field trip. 5.7, out-of-state field trip. 5.8, agreement educational service, Center of Cobb County, ESCCC. 5.9, program extended day for high school.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Vice President Mitchell, second by Board Member Muehlman. Board, do you have any questions about these items in the consent superintendent's recommendation and presentation for personnel programs 5.1 through 5.9? Hearing none, Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mrs. Elba,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Next is unfinished business. 6.1, would you address, Mr. Boyer, if you can, the air conditioning unit installation?
All the classrooms are taken care of except for the internal classrooms, so in middle school and they go to students out of those areas, in the air conditioning areas, in the library, John Dewey, the air conditioner replacement of the two old ones that don't work, those are on order, they will be able to this week. And then we have a couple office areas that we're addressing, air conditioning as well. That will include the air conditioning
Okay, thank you. Also, 6.2, can you just address Westwood renovation update? I think we're done, but.
Yeah, Westwood renovation, pretty much is done with, fixing here and there. We are opening up the kitchen to actually serve food in, usually a great time, situation when you serve there. Maybe, college toilet, we need that, I think we need to use that, so that we can serve food there rather than walking it in. So, still going to be working on that this Saturday and cleaning that up and getting that area and service
And how's the water flowing over there in Westwood? How's the water?
Water, the hot water has been fixed, the pump is in place there. So, anything about hot water and water,
Thanks a lot, Mr. Boyer.
I'd just like to add, if the community could say a prayer for Pastor Ebinger, who was in a real bad car accident last week. I believe he's still in the hospital. He had a broke arm. He had some vertebrae broken in his back. You could say some prayers for him.
All right, next on unfinished business, the Ohio School Board Association 2017 Student Achievement Fair. Mr. Jolly, would you like to address that?
Yes, we are sending 2 groups there. Ms. Elba recommended our Project Lead the Way group that will be going and presenting our pre-engineering program. Ms. Gator recommended our ACE program, which is our construction program. They will also be going. We will be arranging transportation for both groups to go down on the day of the event, which will be a Tuesday. They present at 10 o'clock a.m., 10 to 2. So we will feed the young people when they go and transport them down.
And we have chaperones?
Yeah, our teachers will be our chaperones going down. Again, like Ms. Elba stated, this is our first time ever presenting at Ohio School Boards Association Conference. This is a great opportunity for our district to be showcased in the great programs that exist. Project Lead the Way is in its 2nd year here, and our ACE program, which is in its 2nd year. So great opportunity to show STEM learning at the OSBA Fair.
Board members, do you have any questions about the unfinished business Ohio School Board Association 2017 Student Achievement Fair?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Next on unfinished business is the Northeast Ohio School Board Association dinner. Ms. Elba did actually put an application for Ms. Thompson, and she did win Volunteer of the Year. So it's a great way, like the superintendent said, to showcase the great staff we got and the great scholars that's in our actual district. The only discussion we need to make, I know we were talking about dinners and paying for it, and I know with the treasurer, Rock Hall, they do not pay for the dinners of the award winners. Yeah. When I win an award, I got to pay to come to your dinner and get my award. So I think as a board, and you guys can chime in, I think we should pay for the winner and the spouse. That's my suggestion. But board, Ms. Gator, what do you think about that?
Whatever our past practice has been, if that's normally what we do, we pay for a spouse and the awardee. I'm thinking about retirement parties. I don't know. So I would say whatever.
I don't know past practices. I mean, I don't.
At the retirement party, we just pay for the retirees.
Okay.
We don't have anything past practice on where someone being honored.
Board member Elba, what is your thoughts on that?
I think we can afford $80. I think just because $80 to pay for the recipient, there's no past practice. First time ever that anybody in our district has won anything.
I won something.
Right, I was just.
You were a parent. This was a parent.
Oh, but you said the district. I mean, all right.
Parent volunteer of the year.
All right, thank
That's
you.
never been won here.
No, that's good. Ms. Muehlman, how you feel about it?
Well, I mean,
She won an award.
she won an award,
Hey?
there's recognition,
Is
there's
that-
pay. I just feel we should pay.
Okay.
Show our appreciation. We're gonna do that.
She won an award. What is your feeling, Vice President Mitchell?
I will go with the bulk of the board. But I do believe going forward, I think it's great to honor our employees and our volunteers. So this is setting a precedent, And I think we need to establish some policies to support this in the future, because I'd like to see us continue to support the folks that are working to take care of our children in our district.
Okay, I guess we can take a vote, so, 6.4, we are gonna pay as a district for Ms. Thompson and her husband, and I did meet him at the parent-teacher conference, so we would pay for both of them to attend on October 4th in Wadsworth. Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Need a motion.
I'm sorry. Can I have a motion, 6.4, Northeast Ohio School Board Association Dinner Board to pay for 2 participants to go? Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion. Item 6.4, the Northeast Ohio School Boards Association. Motion is for the board to pay for the awardee and her spouse to attend the dinner.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Member Gator, second by Member Newman. No discussion. Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Elba,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes. Yes. Motion carries 5-0. No new business. Any correspondence at all, Treasurer?
Excuse me, I just have a question. Your resolution that you had for your appropriations, that was a resolution, correct?
Yeah, there's a resolution tied to it.
Okay, because did we not need to
Yeah, I
the
didn't-
resolution separately than the vote?
You never read it the other 3 times that we've approved it here.
All right.
The superintendent would have to, would like to have the floor to announce what his efforts are for the Ohio Department of Education.
Yeah, I'd just like to briefly announce today that we sent a letter to the Ohio Department of Education requesting them to review our data. We believe that our data shows significant progress enough to be taken off the Academic Distress Commission. So we sent them our data from this year in comparison to last year. We sent them evidence of the 2015-16 school year in which almost every district in the state of Ohio dropped. And we wanted them to look at what we've done this year and use that as a parameter to move forward. So the letter was sent to the superintendent of the state of public instruction, also to the board members in the state board of education. So I just wanted to make the public aware because it probably will make the media, and we hope it does because we believe that districts like ours don't get fair shakes in certain situations. When, again, like all the state of the schools, anybody who do research on this will tell you that districts that look like ours are always, if you look at the ratings, always rated on the bottom. It's not because our kids are not smart or our teachers don't teach. It's because every time we figure out the rules change. 14-15, the district received an A evaluated. 15-16, the district received an F. Same kids, we received an A, and 14-15, an F, and 15-16. Then if you look at our data from 16-17, if we didn't have 15-16, we would have an A in 16-17. So, again, if the rules are the same, I believe that we can win. But when they continue to change, and we have to adapt, and all the research say that we starting off behind. I mean, you can do any research, go study it, look at NAEP scores, look at ACT scores, SAT scores. Districts who are predominantly minority have a 20% gap, so we already plan for behind, and as we catch that gap up, the rules change. They say it's too easy, so then the starting line gets farther back, and then we got to catch up. So we are catching up. Our data from this year is indicative that we are catching up all across the board, and we just want a fair shot with the state because we believe that this year we continue to grow and be. We will get where we need to go. Our teachers, our administrators, our parents, everybody's working very hard on a daily basis to ensure our students are learning at very high levels. And we are learning what we need to do to ensure our kids get where they need to go. But anybody who follow education know the standards change every 3 years. The components change every 3 years. If you look at the report cards and from 14, 15 to 16, 17, and 14, 15, it was 84 districts with a D. In 15, 16, it went up to 225. You know, it was major shifts that year. And it wasn't just Warrensville that didn't do well. It was all over the district. And my quest is not to be penalized for a year that everybody did wrong, bad, and we being double penalized. So we sent a letter, and hopefully we get a response.
Thank you, Superintendent Jolly. There is some announcements next October 4th at 6:30. Our Superintendent Donald J. Jolly II will have his Warrensville State of the Schools. It will be held at South Point Auditorium, and that's at 6:30 on October 4th. I would love to have everybody come out to that on Wednesday, October 4th at 6:30 at South Point. The boys' football team is playing Shaw on Friday, and they're exciting, like Ms. Underwood said. And as far as this board, we are taking part and leaving, most of us tomorrow. The whole board is leaving to go to the National School Board Association Council of Urban Boards of Education conference, and it's going to be in New Orleans, and we're going to learn a lot over this weekend. I'm very, very honored and blessed to have my board with me to actually be my first CUBE meeting to be a CUBE member. So I look forward to my board members being with me and being with my other board members, my CUBE family. So that will take place this week. The next board meeting is October the 14th. That will be our work session meeting. Is there any other board business at all? I need a motion to adjourn. Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, move that this board adjourn our regular meeting of September 26, 2017.
Do I have a second? Moved by Member Vice President Mitchell, second by Ms. Newman. We are adjourned.
Well, let me call the roll. Mrs. Newman?
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Just say yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Gator?
Yes.
Mrs. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes, we are adjourned now.
I think it was 14.
That's why I was